Hello, I'm Jim Barbush of Linglestown, Pennsylvania. I'm in the backyard of my home on Blue Mountain Parkway. So I'm coming to you from the parkway. I got a question for you. What are you worried about? What do you have to worry about? I know in my life I've worried about a lot of things, especially over the past few years. Just a lot going on in the lives of my family over the past few years, dealing with some pretty heavy issues. And boy, I'll tell you, sometimes they get me down. I'm sure you've been there. But I went through something recently where I learned something very valuable, greatly valuable, that changed my life, that increased my level of faith, increased my level of trust in God, increased my ability to persevere, to endure, to press on. And it showed me, for me in my case, I had to go through something, what I call a little tsunami of tribulation, to learn something about faith, to learn something about trust, to learn that I have nothing to worry about when I've got my back up against the wall and God is there to take care of business. It seems like I wasn't getting it when smaller things were happening periodically. Something would happen, I'd be concerned with it. Something would happen, I'd be concerned with it. Something would happen, I'd be concerned with it. Important things, but in magnitude, maybe not that great. Well, it was only a week and a half ago, in the week of June 2013, this year, last week for us at this time, we went through a tsunami of tribulation, I could say. Maybe not a huge tsunami, maybe a small tsunami, but it was a big deal. It was a life-threatening deal. And it taught me I don't have anything to worry about, because I believe God's going to take care of business. Here's what happened. Hopefully I'll make this as short as possible. My wife and I woke up on Monday morning at 4:45 a.m. smelling something like burning rubber or burning plastic. We didn't know what it was. We looked around, sniffing, trying to figure out what's going on. It was faint. I just couldn't figure it out. So I went downstairs and went into the family room, and the light switch. Flipped the light switch, the light wouldn't go on. But I could see, because behind me there was a hallway light on, and I could see a faint hue of smoke. Smoke was all I needed to see when I picked up, well, I already had my trustworthy phone, and dialed 911. So I dialed 911 and said, fire in the house. As I was on the phone with 911, my wife went over to the door to our garage from our family room. She opened it and smoke just poured out. Immediately she called down to my son Joe, who was already awake because he had realized the electricity was out, and our house guest Don. They went into action. Joe told Don to go up and get our grandson, and he did. Well, in a matter of minutes, I don't know how long, maybe less than a minute, we were out of the house. I had been on the phone long enough for the 911 operator to get the information about the address, so we are out front. Joe and Don ran around back after everybody was secure out front, opened up the back door, and there was stuff in front of the door. Joe couldn't see into the garage. Smoke was billowing out, but he saw an orange glow. So he quickly ran over, got the garden hose in this backyard over here, got the garden hose, turned it on, squirted it in, put his hand in. Don had put a shirt over his face because he was choking and gagging, sprayed and sprayed and sprayed till the fire went out. Apparently the fire was smoldering, didn't have a lot of oxygen, but created a lot of smoke and a lot of heat. Well, after we were out in the front yard, I figured I'd better move the cars away from the garage door. So I went to back up our one car, and it wouldn't move. I did it again. It wouldn't move. And that's when Joe noticed our tires were slashed. And then we looked at our other car. Our tires were slashed. And then we looked at Don's car in the street. His tires were slashed. So we knew something was up. This wasn't just an accidental fire. Somebody had targeted our house and set a fire and slashed our tires. Why? Basically, somebody tried to kill us, which is a phrase that almost doesn't register with me. Somebody tried to kill me? That's kind of hard to get a grip on. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would somebody do that? Well, I'm not going to go into the details as to why. But that morning, after fire company had left and things had settled down, the fire was out, there wasn't a whole lot of damage, a lot of smoke damage in the garage, a lot of melted things because it was a very hot fire. Sorting through things, I called AAA to get the cars towed so we could get new tires. That was all done. Police there, firemen there, detectives there, fire marshals there, on and on. So that evening when things settled down, I went down to the internet cafe after everything was cooled off and we were trying to get back to some kind of normalcy. Our internet was out because of the fire, because we lost one electric line and we lost cable. And that morning after the fire, I just felt like, I'm done with this. I've had it. I'm ready to quit. I'm ready to get out of this somehow, some way. If I could get out, I would get out. But that evening, as I sat at the internet cafe and I looked at everything that happened, we woke up at 4:45, both my wife and I. We smelled something. We saw smoke. We called 911. Police came. The fire department came. People all over the place. Detectives came. Fire marshals came. Even during the whole process of getting the place secured and getting the fire out, making sure it was out, a fireman took our 4.5-year-old grandson, Hayden, into the fire truck, gave him a teddy bear, and brought him back out. Hayden was cool through all this. Called AAA in the morning to get the cars towed, which doesn't cost you anything when you've got AAA membership. Got the cars towed, the Sportage and the Fusion. Got tires put back on the car. We were able to go pick up our son Nick, who was being released from the hospital that day. We picked him up about 2 o'clock. Things getting back to normal. Insurance people coming. Detectives coming. I called my pastor. I called a couple of mentors, Vard and Mel. They were all praying for us. We got support from other family members. And the list goes on. The list goes on of people that helped us through the situation. And I realized, look at the resources that were extended to us from the moment we woke up to calling 911, police and fire and on, and all the support, prayer support, financial support, all kinds of support. Where would I be without that support? And when I looked at that list, I said, what do I have to worry about? Nothing. God takes care of business. And it seems like to me, I had to go through that tsunami, that one big wave that inundated us, to realize God has it all taken care of. If I wouldn't have gone through that tsunami, I wouldn't have the faith I have today. So you may be going through some very difficult things right now. You might be doing them one at a time. Or you might be getting hit repeatedly, like we've been hit over the years. Or you might be getting this big wave of some big, serious, life-threatening things. But trust in God and know He's got your back. He is and will take care of business. Yeah, you could get sick. Somebody might even lose their life. Or you could be saved from it all physically and financially. Or things could be restored. But no matter what happens, God's got everything under control, even when it comes to life and death issues. So what do you have to worry about? Trust in God with all your heart. He will direct your paths, show you the way, and He will provide. Believe it. Know it. Live it. Amen.